Hi everyone, it's 2 o'clock and so we're going to get started here. We've got Celeste and Fe and I'm Iris. We'll be seeing folks coming in and out of this space throughout this hour. Welcome, this is the first ever online floricanto and it was announced nationwide in the United States, but we've got folks that wanted to participate in the US and also here in Mexico, where I'm at in Guadalajara. I would like to offer the floor to Fe, who's just from California, for the opening prayer.
Mateo. Just wanted to give thanks for another day of life. Give thanks to the Creator, Mateo, to Kashila, Great Spirit, whichever creator you are around or connected to. Give thanks for what we're here today. Give thanks for every direction, all the 4 directions and all the elements as we come together in floricanto, in flower and song for our people, for our communities, for peoples around the world to understand and connect with the sacred elements. Today, we give thanks to our ancestors wherever you are. Here I am in the area of the Tongva and the Chumash community of Los Angeles, Southern California, and Yangna. Wherever you are across the lands, giving thanks for your ancestors, the blood, sweat, and tears that have come and have been given for us to be here in a good way. To be here, to be able to be strong, to be able to have the voice, to be able to have the mind, heart, and spirit to come together in a trenza and a braid, to come together in a good way, so that our communities can be strong and be healthy. We thank the water protectors and the elders in Standing Rock, Sioux, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and all the nations that have come together to stand for the water. Miniwichoni, water is life in our communities. I just coming back last night from that area, have had time a little bit, not really to process, but understand that our communities are always connected, and knowing that all my relations, that we are connected in a good way. I'm thankful to my sister Iris and to all the communities across the world right now and across virtual reality that we're going to connect in this way to offer up prayers through our palabra to our communities across the land. So I want to give thanks to all the ancestors and water protectors there, all the frontliners, bottomliners, the cooks, the elders, the children who have made a beautiful camp and made many beautiful camps to come together for our people and for water, as water is life. So give thanks to the water today. Give thanks for all our elements that we have and the health and guidance that each and every one of us have, or that we are struggling to have as a people and as families and as community. Homadakuyasi.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Amadeo, for opening in that way. And that's the goal here, you know, to connect, to share our art, to heal through that art, but to also be able to use this video to share with our people in mass spaces across the country, and to be able to raise the consciousness about what's happening and how we are directly connected to Standing Rock and to the water protectors up there. And so I would like to start with sharing a video of a Standing Rock. I'm going to share my screen really quickly.
Just got a blanket and a towel and I just headed out.
At times it got discouraging. Wanted to leave. We just figured it wasn't going to happen. And we just kept praying about it. Because I'm the spiritual leader, the keeper of the sacred pipe, they asked me to organize a shop going. Started. The pipeline, according to our prophecy, it breaks, it's going to poison the water of life. And that's why people said we're going to take a stand that enough is enough. And we told them that we're going to stand together. In our own community, there's a lot of people that didn't even know anything about what was going on. So we just tried our best just to get the word out there, pass information along, and thank God for social media. It was a prophecy from a long time ago that the Ocheti Shakoya were going to come together. There was going to be changes in the world. From time first started till today, there's over 200 flags here. And it's not only indigenous people, but we have non-natives that are standing here with us. It's a peaceful, spiritual camp here.
We're staying here because we know that this ain't over. The battle is won, but the war is only beginning. And it's not a war of negativity, but it's the war of spirituality. We're trying to overcome this obstacle, in a non-violent way. Instead of fighting with violence, instead of fighting with fire, we're fighting with prayer.
And now today we are sharing the best that we can here at this camp, where there's many tribes and many nations are coming, because a lot of people are looking for their spirituality. That's why we are in this situation right now, because people are spiritually disconnected.
If all these people weren't here right now, they probably would have already went through with this, because all the support is what's helping us.
Let's make a good impact on this earth. Let's leave something good behind. Man, I mean, look at this. This is what I want for my kids, and this is what my future to see. Not pollution in the water, not death everywhere, not sick trees in the sick land. I don't want them to see that. And I want them to be able to have every right that we have now.
That was a quick video about Standing Rock. And so today we have different folks across the country joining us. To offer the floor to Celeste. Could you tell us a little about yourself and introduce us to your work?
My name is Celeste de Luna. I'm from the Rio Grande Valley. I do a lot of work that is considered political artwork. I've been trying to document the militarization of the border in the Rio Grande Valley for quite a number of years now, since the Secure Act was enacted a few years ago. I can do that. So this is what it looks like. Let's see. Is that a good view of that? So I've gotten a lot of interesting feedback on that, and I'd be real interested in knowing what you think, Iris, and as far as what Fe would think as well about the piece, because I've heard some good things about it and some bad things about it. But basically, a lot of the work that I do is trying to come up with images that show the experience of the brown women's bodies as it pertains to the border. So a lot of the images that I use show women, anchor babies, the body. And in this image, I'm kind of replacing a woman who's supposed to be a migrant with an image of the fence. And my idea came from the idea of a woman's body being a home, and also from an image I created a few years ago called Tu cuerpo es una frontera, which equates migrant women's bodies as borders, or the idea that, you know, women can give birth to on one side of a border and have American citizen children, and then they can also give birth on the other side of the border and have undocumented or Mexican-born children, or other countries now, you know, that my work is sort of progressing. And I was thinking that if our bodies are borders, you know, how could I portray that? One of the ways that I've done it is by showing women's bodies as being part of the land. And I really wanted to show an image that sort of showed the violence and the oppression of that. So I sort of replaced her head with a fence. And I feel like some people, I've had some feedback where people have told me that this image is kind of violent or dehumanizing. But I also feel like it's pretty honest of the experience that women actually have, that have happened, that they are experiencing these very, very violent and oppressive things that happen as they're migrating. I think I can sort of equate that to some of the things that are happening to our Native American sisters on reservations, where I hear that a lot of them are experiencing sexual violence because people go onto the reservation and commit violent acts, and then they can just leave because they're their own sovereign nation. I don't know as much about that as I'd like, but I thought it was an interesting parallel, how we could, sort of talk about that or discuss that. I'd like to hear what other people think about that. I don't know as much about that as I'd like, but I thought it was an interesting parallel, how we could, sort of talk about that or discuss that. I'd like to hear what other people think. So in that image, there's a baby and an anchor baby, and an anchor baby is supposed to be a child, an American-born citizen, born to undocumented immigrants. And I've heard that slur quite a bit, especially post 9/11. And in this image that I have of the woman fence, I'm calling it woman fence, and it is on fabric. I'm starting to do large-scale woodcuts and to put them on fabric, which I think is a lot more, so much easier to work with, and I'm excited about the idea of getting to sew and use more traditional feminine arts in my work in that sense. I'm a little nervous.
Don't worry. I actually have a question. What are
more traditional feminine arts in my work?
What is the connection that you see between our community as the greater pan-Mexicano, MeXicanx nation and what's happening in Standing Rock, and how does that affect you and your work? Just real quick, because I see there's a lot of parallels between what's happening to our community and what's happening to other indigenous communities. And we have layers of different type of colonization coming from the South and coming from Spain and Mexico that have separated us from that indigenous identity, especially us in Texas, because we're like detribalized for a long time when we come from the mission system. So in this event that we're having here that focuses on Standing Rock, I would like to bring to the forefront the connections and highlight those connections and highlight those experiences, because really this is a wake-up call for all of us. Could you just briefly tell us something about how you as a Chicana in Texas are feeling this drumbeat in your heart regarding to Standing Rock? Just briefly tell us something about how you as a Chicana, this drumbeat in your heart regarding to Standing Rock.
I definitely see the parallel with the idea of the criminalization of women's bodies, of people in general. I feel so sad when I see the images of Standing Rock. I wish I could do more. I feel very helpless. I see women and children and people who look a lot like me, and I don't understand why these treaties are still continue to be broken, and how they can show such disrespect to people. How we can all just watch it happen over and over again. And I just don't know. It's so hard to understand for me. And it's the same pain that I feel when I think about undocumented people and their suffering, and how they're dehumanized and criminalized for, being, citizens of this continent. I really feel like if people need to be more understanding and to kind of understand more about our history and how the criminalization of Native Americans and Chicanos, Mexicanos, the indigenous in Mexico, like, it's all connected. So that's how I feel about it. And I mean, I feel so helpless again. I do what I can. I hope that my work is at least a way to express some of that and to kind of spread some education about it. But thank you so much for this forum and for inviting me, Iris. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us, Celeste. I'd like to switch back to Fe, and let me unmute here. And so what would you like to share with us? We're eager to hear your art.
I unmuted myself. Well, you know, having just literally got back anoche from Standing Rock, there's a lot to process, a lot to connect. I don't have specific pieces that I've written connected to the Standing Rock struggle, to Dakota Access Pipeline, and to everything that's happening there. But I looked at some of the pieces that I've done before, and you know, as Celeste was saying, really a lot of our struggles, indigenous struggles, Banao struggles, pipeline, and to everything that's happening, and other struggles are very, very connected. So what I'd like to share is a piece connecting kind of where mujeres are at around the world, and connecting what who we're about identity-wise and what we can be, and connected to the water. It's called International Woman. Mujer de maíz y la madre tierra es mi país. I am international woman, representing all four directions. I'm trying to make the connection between my dreams and reality and the duality of my sexuality. I am international woman. After all, womb and we are the land, connected to the center, the other world within ourselves. And from my body flows a constant stream of consciousness, rebirth of consciousness, a re-evolution of El Sexto Sol. I am international woman. The trembles are felt all over the globe as La Madre Tierra cries her tears, cleansing herself from the evil within her hijo, el mijo, la chingada. The creation of destruction given vida, cause hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I am international woman. Alone, looking in the turquesa zone, I see the blood red road ahead. As the rain in a storm, tensions, they say, to all my relations. I am international woman. And as the Getty's banners speak of imagining across the hoods of LA, I am reminded while the world is still a ghetto, from the corner Chinese fashion land to the vegetarian taco stand to the Vietnamese acrylic tips of the world, I am international woman. Weave together in China curls or blown out frizz, realizing that adornment can have consequences. Whether Cholo blues or Nike shoes, I keep strong with my Jordana hues. I am international woman. Living in the jungle, Chiapas and LA, we live to remember the Pachamama's way. I am international woman. Mujeres en maíz, MCs, mujeres en ceremonia, with life juices that flow like water from our bodies. Waves in tune with the moon, seen at its fullest by the eyes of those who look to the sky, to the land, to the fire, to create sacreds from sacreds and drink of these mixed waters. Oh, thank you.
Wow, that was so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. And on that note, we're going to switch over. I'm going to share again. Israel Lopez is out of Arizona. He runs a site called Water Hummingbird House. He's an artist, but he's also wanted to join us today. And he sent over a link called the Water Songs for some of his poetry. He's also a poet. So in just a second, I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll listen to his poetry.
mic check, water songs, cantos para el pueblo, no tapo, hashtag water is life, hashtag ghost braids, hashtag sixth canto. They have many names. Names go by trickster. They told you water in a bottle from Fiji was better than water from your tap. They told you there's vitamin water and smart water and eco-friendly water. They told you there's black water, brown water, gray water, green water, neon water, blue gold water. The Coca-Cola will quench your thirst. To steal the land and the river where your grandmothers and their grandmothers and their grandmothers' grandmothers have been singing and drinking and praying and dancing to the same waters since before they had two legs, two hands, one heart. They sometimes go by other names. Sometimes they call themselves Nestle and other really tricky names that make you forget they are the same. Then they trick you again and tell you we are not all the same, that not everybody has the right to water. They put oil in your water and then they tell you to drink it. They put all kinds of things that flow down the river from all their manufacturing plants, spills, drains, from all their little trickster parties, plans, policies, partnering. All the while, want you to remember that if you sing to water, water remembers you. They don't want you to remember that if you are thankful, water becomes more alive. They are really not trying to trick you, actually. They have many names, and one of them is trickster. They are not doing anything else but what they are supposed to be doing. They don't want you to remember that you knew water long before it knew them of them. Can you remember where trickster came? Will you remember water after they leave? They don't want you to remember all the names you've known for water, all the places where water has been, all the places where water has died, all the places where water is damned, all the places where water is dying, all the places where water is spoiled, all the places where water is being born again, all the places where water is singing, all the places where water is being sung to, all the places where water is.
So that was Israel Aros Lopez, Arizona, sharing his poetry called Water Songs. Sometimes they go by the name Trickster. Real quick, I'm gonna switch over back to YouTube. We an entry from El Maestro Juan Ajijic Huehuecoyo out here in Guadalajara. Let me switch the screen over to that. Let's see.
la que se nos brinda reverente, su energía en su frecuencia, donde el agua todo, sin el agua nada, donde el agua todo, sin el agua nada, espíritu como una mariposa, la medicina letal poderosa, es transparente que nos reflejamos en ella, es el espejo de un universo sutil, fluye con ríos y peces armoniosamente, con el flujo de la luna en sus paredes, fluye en nuestra mente, y en nuestras lágrimas al sentirnos de alegría. Con el agua todo, sin el agua nada. Con el agua todo, sin el agua nada. Reverenciada siempre por su humanidad, por darles esplendor a su por naturaleza, belleza y su bondad, dada por sus infinitas criaturas, es un regalo de la creación que tenemos que cuidar y conservar, más que cualquier tesoro o ambición, es nuestro elixir sagrado, hay que preservarlo. El agua todo, sin el agua nada. El agua todo, sin el agua nada. El agua todo, sin el agua nada. El agua todo, sin el agua nada.
Indigenous people, shine your light, we are equal. I remember the days when our prayers were illegal. I remember the days when being Indian was lethal. Yeah, we had a rough past, but get ready for the sequel. Get ready for the glorious comeback of our people. Oh, yeah. Rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I can feel it in my heart. Can you feel it in your blood? I can hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up, wake up. All nations rise. Rise up, cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, cause now's the time. All nations rise. Rise up, cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, cause now's the time. As my bow and my prayers as my arrows, pull them back and let go. I watch them fly like sparrows have hope. With compassion as my shield and faith down to my marrow, I will walk the pollen path even when it gets narrow. Yeah, I resurrect. Yes, you can bet that we seen the single mama raising children on the rest. We seen domestic violence tear apart what we have. We seen the alcohol take it all and leave us dead. Seen the take their lives when they can't take bread anymore. Dread anymore. No, we can't take the dread anymore. No, we can't dread anymore. It's a war, but we've seen it all before, and now we know we can change it, cause that's why we were born. We know we are the one waiting for. Grandma has been praying for. So rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I can feel my heart. Can you feel it in your blood? I can hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up, wake up, and so es nuestro tiempo, no tienes que esconderte más. Ahora es Mujer indígena, tú eres tan sagrada. Traigas medicina de tu suelo todavía. A pesar del abuso de tu cuerpo y tu tierra, respetamos tus ancestros y la suya cultura. Hombre indígena, tú eres honorable y yo veo la fuerza que todavía sobrevive a pesar del abuso de tu raza venerable. Yo respeto tus ritos, tus danzas, tus padres. Somos guerreros del amor y guerreros de la paz y no vamos a escondernos más. Somos guerreros del amor y guerreros de la paz y no vamos a escondernos más.
They say that history is written by the victors. But how can the victor when the war isn't over? The battle has only just begun, and Creator is sending his very best warriors. And this time, it isn't Indians versus cowboys. No, this time, it is all the beautiful races of humanity together on the same side, and we are fighting to replace our fear. And this time, bullets, arrows, and cannonballs save us. The only weapons that are useful in this battle are the weapons of truth, faith, and compassion.
So that was a quick video by Lela June, who's been very active there at Sacred Stone Camp and in spreading word and getting assistance to the folks there on the front lines. I'd like to ask Fe real quick. Can you talk to us a little bit about the importance of us as MeXicanx people, as in the broader MeXicanx community, why it's so important for us to reconnect with our indigenous heritage at this moment in time, and how this connects with what's happening at Standing Rock and other places across the world, or across the continent, really, with relation to the lands that we have lost over time in that historical memory.
Yeah, definitely. I think for our communities, as Chicana indigenous communities, Chicana indigenous communities, Chicana indigena are those that are connected to the land in some way, whether you are from North, South, Central America. Many of us considering an idea of Aztlan, or the communities where our homelands are, many of us being displaced as refugees, as economic refugees, as political refugees, as a result of force, and many different reasons where we've had to be displaced from our homelands, where our ombligo or our placentas lie, where our sacred ombligo or medicine and intentional spaces are. So it's really important for many of us, and has been very important for many of us for centuries, but really more so in the last 40 to 50 years, to reconnect with our indigenous brothers and sisters and families and relatives, specifically from the northern area, northern plains and California and across the lands, and recognize that we are literally one people, one spirit, one mind, connecting to the four directions, connecting to the four elements and the land and water, viento y fuego, or wind and fires. So all of us connecting to these sacred elements in order to really live, to have all these things here, to have this virtual reality, to have our wind and poetry of the sacred word, to have all these things together. So I'm really honored overall to have ancestors, to have tias and tios, veteranas and veteranics, and people who have come together, elders, guides, tias, who have really paved the way for many of us to be able to see our connection in ways to these to our indigenous heritage. Many of us, specifically as Chicanos, Chicanaos, Xicanx, however one may identify according to where they are across Turtle Island, have not been able to, or have had to find and reclaim and reconnect with their ways because of assimilation, because of these forced displacements of our people. And it's not, to fault of our own. Many indigenous peoples from the north back in the day, and not so much these days now, but did not consider ourselves and did not consider Chicanos or those of Mexican descent or those from north, south, and Central America as indigenous peoples, thinking that, you know, maybe we're appropriating or other ways. But once you understand the his and her story, our story of our communities, the displacement, the forced and economic displacement, political displacement, at least specific wars and things that have happened in order for our people to have moved up or down or whatever the direction was to other continents or other countries and political borders, politically imposed borders, in order for us to be who we are. So though I may have a shirt that is a t-shirt made in the USA, that is of cotton and does not have my traditional regalia or gear, does not mean I am not indigenous or practice my ways or reclaiming or reconnecting and trying to do these ways. So many people therefore have been connecting with struggles. You know, back in the day from Wounded Knee, Chicanas and Chicanos were there, from the intercontinental encuentros in the United Nations to across the continent. There are Chicanas and Chicanos and indigenous people who are living in the United States there, representing not only who we are, but also for many years being the liaisons amongst indigenous peoples, but now also sharing our stories as indigenous people and sharing the historical insight. So I credit a lot of that for myself and my own connections to those Tias and guides here in Southern California, for myself, living here in Yamna territory or Tongva territory in Yamna in Los Angeles, but also to La Red Chicana Indígena and other people, elders and tias of the Red Road, but also the political road, who have gone to intercontinental encuentros and gatherings to say who we are, who we're not, and why we are in the situations we are. And they've done that for many years, over 40 years now, with Indigenous Treaty Council and many others. So many of us have connected through Danza Azteca because it's so accessible. Many of our communities, other ways through sweat and ceremony, Sundance, other ways that people have connected to these ways. And so going to Standing Rock, for me, was very key as a practicing Christian who connects with indigenous traditions of the Northern Plains, of the Lakota people and Dakota nations. And so it was very, very important for many of us to go there, not only in solidarity and spiritarity and ceremony, but also to work. And so I just came back from almost 6 days there, I believe, with California Native indigenous women, mainly Chicana Indígena, representing women who had to do body work, healing, ceremony, in that way to help the frontliners and to help the people who are literally putting their bodies on the line and feel a lot of tension, issues, coughs. Everybody's very, because of the weather and because of what's going on, are really feeling it in their bodies. And so our community of Los Angeles body workers, practitioners, wellness practitioners, herbalists went to help do what we know, which is help in that way through the body and through wellness. And, you know, it was full circle for many of us, having connected with indigenous traditions, specifically from the Lakota people as Chicanas, coming from the South. Many of us having connected with Peace and Dignity and that Eagle and Condor who came together just recently, right, like last week. And so for us, it was a real connection and real prayer manifested, womanifested, and beautiful thing to see. So something like this in today's floricanto is also very amazing, because using virtual reality, using these World Wide Webs to connect Celeste from Texas, who we've connected with from Iris in Mexico, and us here in LA, and whoever may be watching, to be in spiritarity, to be in poetry and resistance, but also not only resistance. And what we found so much is, yes, there's a huge resistance, and that is a resistance camp, but it's also an affirmation camp. It's also a cultura camp, and it's also a camp, you know, based on spirit and ceremony. And they are reminding everybody of that over and over, and trying to remind the allies, white allies and other communities of color who have come, who may not understand the ceremonial ways and protocol. So thank you both for being here, taking some time out of your day to be in solidarity. They do feel those prayers. They are getting a lot of those donations, and they continue to need the help and support from resistance and affirmation.
Thank you so much for that, for sharing that, Faye. Your voice is so critical, and thank you so much for going out there. I mean, a lot of us, there's a lot of folks I'm in Mexico, and I know that folks on the ground in the United States, a lot of them are working, they have families, like they're dealing with a lot of pressure too. So actually getting out there is to Standing Rock is difficult, although like we're encouraging folks to get out there. You were able to do that, and so many of us are thankful for doing that. Our prayers are with you and your journeys, and also with the folks in Standing Rock. I really quickly went, or actually highlight what you were talking about with regard to our community, waking up and re-indigenizing and reconnecting with our traditional ways and how that's coming together. Quickly check out the video out a couple weeks ago when a group of danzantes out of Michigan Standing Rock. It happened at night, and when I saw the video, I was just shocked. I mean, it brought me to tears. The wet moved my heart, so I wanted to add that to this floricanto so that folks on the ground who may not be connected to like the activist circles or a lot of community stuff of what it felt like and what it looked like to have the danza arrive there at the Sacred Stone Camp. So give me just 1 second and I'll share my screen.
Aztecs are coming. Aztecs, people. The Aztecs are here.
Sorry. So those were some quick videos that came out of the danza coming that arrived at the Sacred Stone Camp. I know when I saw those videos, my heart just chest, and just in sharing those videos with my folks and my danzante relatives here in Mexico, I mean, ellos se animaron, everybody got very pumped up and excited, and we've actually been participating in solidarity with Ayoyotes on the ground, which has been a call for danza and prayer that have the Sacred Stone Camp with Elga, the jefes Elga and Jose Garza and Mayahuel Garza that have been going down to the camp doing danza. and then asking folks, danzante groups across the United States and Mexico to do danza at the same day, same time. So that's happened 3 times. Ayoyotes on the ground, and the folks here in Mexico, in Guadalajara, the circles here have been a part of that as well. So this issue, as not only as Chicanos, not only as Mexican Americans, but also Mexicanos, they're staying on top of this issue. Danzantes here, I know, are staying on top of the issue. So it's a very beautiful moment. Even though it's a tragic moment, it's also a very beautiful moment where a lot of people seem to be waking up. There seems to be like a great despertar, a great awakening happening. And, you know, the sacred drumbeat in their hearts, and that's a beautiful thing to be a part of. And I'm so honored to be sharing this space with you, Yalsiwa Mujeres, also, because I know down in your communities on this and many other issues as well. So thank you for that. I wanted to switch over and offer a little bit of music. Mother Earth is calling us to help her, and it's come down to now or never. Mother Earth is calling us to help her, and it's come down to now or never. They walk with hate and fear. Don't let them break the power of our fires. Won't happen. Peace, love, healing through prayer. No violence, no more defeating ways. Be conscious. Mother Earth is calling us to help her, and it's come down to now. Ever. Mother Earth is calling us to help her, and it's come down to now or never. Earth, land we depend on, is sacred. Air, the air that we breathe, is sacred. Fire, light you carry inside you, is sacred. Water from the womb, earth and skies are sacred. Mother Earth is calling us to help her, and it's come down to now or never. Mother Earth is calling us to help her, and it's come down to now or never. Oh, with that. So that's my little offering.
Gracias.
Thank you for sitting through that. No, but on a serious note, I am very honored to have shared this space with you. We're coming to the end of today's Floricanto, and I know Dr. Seatley couldn't make it to today's Floricanto, but he was planning on showing up, and so one thing that he asked for me to mention, that we're hoping to do a national Floricanto. So in January, February, if folks are interested, going to one, so far is most likely going to be LA. To join in a Floricanto, we're asking folks from Chicano, Mexicano, Mexican American community to participate. And get in touch with us. Right now, there's nothing set in stone, so everything's still open. So you can email chicamedia, xica@gmail.com if you're interested in participating or organizing for an event like that. So I would like to end this show or this Floricanto with the palabras of a 12-year-old girl that published, I think, just this morning. I saw it on my Facebook feed this morning, regarding an upcoming day of action. As we know, the Army Corps of Engineers sent a letter to evict the camp, deadline of December 5th, and we know that's not going to happen, and there's going to be people resisting that, prayerfully resisting that. But there's also been a call to action by this 12-year-old girl for December 5th at noon to shut down all the highways in the United States. So I'm going to end this show with a quick video from her palabra, and so that we can take action on December 5th. Oops, sorry about that. Sorry, I lost the link here. Give me just 1 second. But do either of you have any closing palabras that you'd like to add?
Just thank you for putting this together. Thank you to all the protectors, the water protectors that are putting themselves, their families, their communities that have left many of their communities to be on the front lines. We're literally putting their bodies on the line to be there, through freezing cold, through hard weather, harsh weather, and hard times. To stay strong, to stay committed to the 4 elements, to water. And thank you for your work, and thank you to all those who are doing, sharing and doing things, whatever it is, whatever their role is, from cooking to cleaning, to doing poetry, to creating art, to organizing donations and fundraisers wherever you are. That you don't have to be in Standing Rock. There's many Standing Rocks across the world right now and across our nations that are very similar, things that are happening everywhere from Black Mesa, Oak Flats to Wirikuta. Our struggles are very connected, and so you can be where you're at and do a lot to connect these struggles, whatever your role may be. It is an important one, and please keep doing it.
Just want to thank you, Iris and Fe, for sharing this time with me. I'm just very thankful for that.
Thank you, ladies. I am taking just another quick moment. My computer's moving really slow to find this video really quick. Sorry about that technical. It's always those last minute technical difficulties. And just today, I saw a video come out that our Purepecha relatives arrived at camp, so that's another interesting video. We don't have time for today, but perhaps next time. So here we go. Screens.
I'm just a kid, 12 years old, and I shouldn't be worrying about adults, probably, but kids all over the world have to pay for mistakes we didn't even make. This future, we're the next elders, we're the next leaders. This is our future. I cry watching videos of Standing Rock. We shouldn't have to fight for our water. We should just be able to have clean drinking water. We're only given one planet. And we're destroying it. It's not just in North America where we need clean drinking water. It's all over the world. my children and my children are able to have clean drinking water, and they won't have to worry about having clean water. They should just have it. I want us to stand together, and we're going to shut down all the highways in North America on December 5th. I'm inviting everyone to join us. Bring your shakers, bring your drums, bring your vessels, bring your feathers. We'll pray together.